¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wednesday stream. I would normally say, I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday morning, but that seems. Well. Hey, how's it going, Mayhem Hippie? Happy Wednesday from a cool grey London of political upheaval. Hey, Echo Resto Dragon, how's it going? I couldn't sleep. My mind is racing with all that has happened. Yeah. Woke up to somebody mowing their lawn at 8 a.m. Morning, morning. Agave Poet, how's it going? Only nation in the world where this shit happens on the daily. Yeah, sometimes in multiple instances at a time. So as I imagine, as most of you are aware at this point, yesterday, another mass shooting happened at a school. I believe the total was 16 kids and 2 adults, if I'm correct. Oh, it's 20 now. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry to hear how so many people lost their lives in Texas. Yeah. Last I heard there were 19 kids. Yeah, 19 kids. Wait, was it 19 kids and 2 adults? Or how does that work? I'm not counting the shooter themselves. Okay, so 19 kids and 2 adults. Jesus. Okay. When we moved, we stopped having active shooter drills. They used to cause my youngest son extreme distress and anxiety and nightmares. Why is it okay to subject children to this, all for the rights of guns? No, we shouldn't mention any mass shooter's name. I didn't do it for the white supremacist shooter. I'm not going to do it here. Hey, Thundera, how's it going? There's literally no one in power willing to do anything for anybody for any reason unless it's their financial interest. Nothing will change. That is true. Hey, Lost 2, how's it going? This is a function of having so many guns moving freely in your country. I think that, I mean, like, I think that the idea of having some type of gun control, I think At some point, I mean, something's got to give, right? I mean, come on, can we start talking about maybe implementing um red flag laws that would actually attempt to prevent some of these things? Can we talk about maybe imposing more more thorough background checks? Can we get laws on the books that would say if there is a mass shooting incident where someone who, like, for example, someone who is not allowed to have a gun, like a kid, right? Like a kid takes the gun to school and does a heinous act like this, and it was found that the parents were irresponsible, then they should share. They should shoulder that burden too. We should put laws on the book that would put severe punishment for folks who improperly or allowed access to firearms to, like, a minor who wasn't supposed to have it, or to a person who wasn't supposed to have it. Um, didn't he buy the gun online? I don't know. I'm not sure. But we can impose, like I said, more severe background checks to make sure that doesn't happen. We can raise the age limits for all firearms to 21. I mean, like, it's just unbelievable. He got two he got two guns from a store a couple of days before a couple of days after he became 18. Right. So to which I would say, yeah, raise the age limit for all guns to 21. An annual NRA convention is this weekend, and Governor Abbott is still speaking at it. Jesus Christ. If I lived in Texas, I would be protesting, and they're about to. Yes, that's what Agave just posted. The NRA gets a boost in sales after mass shootings. They effing love it. Jesus, that's gross. Yes, I saw that. Echo Resto Dragon. Literally, they could not. How do I put this within terms of service? They could not identify. They could not They could not outright make the They could not outright identify the victims. There we go. Let's just put it that way. They could not outright identify the victims. And because of that, they had to do DNA tests. I agree. I agree. At some point, something's got to give, right? I mean, we just had several mass shootings, like back to back to back to back to back. I mean, at some point, how many more of these incidents? These are like a daily occurrence, you know? Force gun owners to carry liability insurance. That could be a thing. How's it going, Fu Man? No need in the world to have a military-style weapon. I would get it in a heartbeat. The liability insurance, yeah. And that's not even a new statistic. Yikes. Hundreds of incidents. Yep. I think in 1 year alone, there's over 400. Over 90%. 90% of the population agree with strict background checks and common sense gun laws. Yeah, I agree. When nothing happened after Sandy Hook, I lost hope. Well, the only people who should have military weapons in North America is indigenous people. Seriously, I know a lot of gun owners that would support that. I live in a state that until recently you could buy guns at yard sales. Yeah, that shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be a thing. Oh, Biden said that in his speech last evening. Wow. Hey James, how's it going? Been 27 shootings so far in schools. Was it this year? If the first one wasn't enough to bring about change, the 101st one isn't either. Unfortunately, I think I think that's the case. Unfortunately. 27 in this year, just in schools alone. I'm so tired of walking by the gun counter at Walmart only to see another seen some new jackass buy yet another one. Biden's speech gave me deja vu from the 2012 Sandy Hook. I'm not. I think James is correct. I don't expect. I don't expect. Any legitimate action. I mean, like the fact that we can't even like at least put something on the board of like something in regards to is something in regards to like common sense, like gun control. And by gun control, I mean things like stricter background checks, maybe raising the age limit to buying guns, maybe implementing certain red flag laws, maybe putting harsh punishments for irresponsible maybe putting harsher penalties for folks who improperly store firearms and then somebody who's not supposed to have them gets a hold of them. There should be consequences for that too. We keep bars locked up. Our kids know how to use them. Guns are not bad. The lack of policy and control of who has access is what needs regulating. Yeah. Pandora's box has been opened and you can't put it back. I'm still waiting to hear that the shooter had a record of violent behavior too. I mean, he Robloxed his man, this is so like this is so reminiscent of this is so there's a lot of parallels between this incident and Sandy Hook, where in the Sandy Hook incident, the person, the murderer, Robloxed his mother and then went to the school. In this case, he Robloxed his in this case he Robloxed, I think, his grandmother and then went to like ran and then ended up at the school, and that's how this happened. Yes, his grandmother. Okay. I say this because most treaties were also about mutual protection from both foreign and domestic defense. Originally, yes. Yes. I am torn. On one hand, I'm a dirty lefty who thinks that the proletariat should be armed. I mean, like I said, I don't think that, like, in a vacuum, I don't think that, um, in a vacuum, I don't think that, like, the gun itself is the problem, right? But this is kind of a uniquely distinct issue in this country. I've been in the army long enough to not trust other people who are trained to use these weapons, so why would I trust a random civilian with little to no training to use them not to hurt others? Right. Right, and you're a veteran, yeah? The states having separate gun laws per state is insane. Guns won't help when the tanks come. We take them, it comes down to the owner, and I wish they were required. I see these idiots at the range, and we tell our kids that they are crappy gun owners. Almost none of them are quiet about what they want to do. The idea that everyone's safety is better handled with a gun in their own hand is such an asinine world to live in. Well, this is America. I mean, Double Fart Jackson, thank you for the follow. I don't agree with your tacit approval of guns, saying that the gun is not the problem. Without the gun, this can't happen. Yeah, I mean, I agree that obviously the firearm is a multiplying factor. Did you hear the NRA meeting audio after Columbine? Yeah. When I was younger, I got threatened by a 13-year-old whose parents bought him a shotgun. What? I think we need to name a new law called the Reload Law, at least ban AR automatic guns so that people have a chance to run and live. Nah, that's not gonna do anything. The problem is it's not just the guns that are the problem, it's the demographics. We have to start asking why young, predominantly white males are drawn to mass shootings like this, and where the targets are women and children, where there's a distinct lack of reason behind it. There's a conscious decision to attack at random and choose the most vulnerable of society. It is part of culture of shifting power and externalizing insecurities. I think there's definitely something there. Yes. Primo World Court and law would state that the treaties in the original form are the only legal ones, and that this was done without prior and informed consent is not a valid change. That's true. I agree, it terrifies me that this could be my kid in their schools. It scares the ever-living hell out of me. Yeah, 100%. I agree. Meaning, I don't blame you. I don't have kids, but today Republicans will be saying it's too soon to talk about gun control. Yeah. Yeah, and like the idea of like there's been some people who are suggesting that like, oh yeah, just have like more metal detectors and like armed security at school. I'm like, well, that's you want kids to feel safe, not like they're going into prison. Arm the teachers. Yeah, that's asinine. At the end of the day, schools should be a safe place where the kids and parents and faculty do not and should not have to worry about one of their students being a threat. Correct. The teenagers who survived Columbine are in their late 30s and 40s or have kids in elementary school. Yikes. Would 15 kids have died if he had a knife or a non-automatic weapon? I don't think he had an automatic weapon. But yes, definitely a lot less would have died. Yeah, arm the teachers is an asinine thing. The good guy with the gun tried to stop. Actually, in the other mass shooting, the white supremacist mass shooting, there was a guard who attempted to stop the murderer, but he had body armor, and then he was one of the first people to get clapped. The same thing happened at this incident too. One of the good guys with the gun attempted to confront, or obviously it's his job, and the person had body armor, and well, that was one of the adults that got clapped. In 2014, there was a paper published which discussed what they called triple entitlement. The straight white middle class young male who's far more predisposed to mass shootings and random attacks on vulnerable people than any other demographic in American society. Well, why though? That's not a random phenomenon. You can find it here, but I put the PDF on Discord. Such analysis concludes that many among many mass killers, a triple privilege of white heterosexual masculinity, which makes subsequent life courses, losses, unexpected and thus more painfully shameful, ultimately buckle under the failure of downward mobility and result in a final cumulative act of violence and stave off subordinate masculinity. Yeah, so what would be, I mean, you'd have to ask yourself then why? Yes, it was, to my understanding, it was 2 handguns, was it not? I don't know. I kind of just saw a couple of the headlines and was already horrified. I kind of gave a hope of actual change after watching a first batch of elementary school kids get slaughtered years ago. There are over 1 million successful defensive uses of guns every year. How many bullets can be shot per second from an AR-15 style gun he used? I don't know. It depends on the person. I believe that statistic is true, Liz, but I don't know the relevance. This is why I homeschool. I remember being taken out of school as a direct result of Columbine. Jesus, Yeah, the good guys get shot. Yeah, the good guys were the first ones to get clapped or they run away. The AR-15 is a semi-automatic. Yeah, I believe so. The legal standard for an AR-15 should be semi-automatic. Right, one trigger pull equals 1 bullet fired. Right, 1 cycle. I didn't look this up I wish I didn't look this up, but an automatic weapon can fire up to 400 rounds per minute. Yes, an automatic weapon can. And we still have no solution, right? Because there's no real will. Not enough anyways. Not enough. Not enough will. There are a couple of people who are a little bit more outspoken, but the majority of our legislature has mostly offered the standard procedure, the cycle that happens every time, the cycle, the same tweets or press releases that happen every time one of these incidents happen. We are horrified at the incident that happened. No kid should ever feel should ever feel like their life might be in danger in a school where it's supposed to be safe. And we offer our condolences to all the victims and their families. And then they will be with us in our thoughts and prayers. And that's the same cycle that happens every single time, every incident. It's about the idea. It's about the idea of a group of people living under kind of precarious socioeconomic conditions, lower middle class, who are now experiencing a decline in opportunity and privilege, with women and minorities now no longer needing to pay homage to them. Combined with the fact that they still feel entitled to have those privileges yet get denied, means that they're externalize that anxiety into women and minorities, and they're rich enough to think that they should have that opportunity but poor enough to lose it. Okay, so you're saying that this is, like you said earlier, like an insecurity thing? Some psychological, like, insecurity that makes that particular demographic particularly stand out when it comes to these things? Yeah, thoughts and prayers is just nothing. It means nothing. It's the same rehashed rhetoric that we always hear, Mayhem Hippie. It's the same thing. I can rehearse it. I can rehearse it from word. F off to any Republican comic. Yeah, I was thinking that earlier. I'm like, well, how are we supposed to, how do we square that circle, folks? Pro-life? Was never about pro-life. Yeah. So, TLDR, yet another. One would think that at this point, some type of action, or at least something, at least try. Jesus Christ. We have a few solutions that, when combined and enacted simultaneously, can at least help the situation. First, liability insurance. Not carrying it should be a felony. Laws on proper storage of firearm. Voluntary buybacks nationwide for that. Start off by offering more than the market price to incentivize people to get them off the streets, at least for a time. Then another time, offer market rate, then offer below market rate with threats of fine. Close gun show loopholes. Yeah, there's no reason why you should be able to buy a firearm without any type of background check or anything like that at a gun show, or like any type of paperwork. Like, every firearm that you buy should be like how it would be if you bought it from a store, where they have to do all kinds of paperwork and there's a trail, essentially. I think that laws on proper storage of firearms, I think that if you are a gun owner and there was an incident where somebody who is not supposed to have those firearms obtain those firearms and then commits a heinous act, and it was found that that's how they got the firearms, you should have to shoulder some responsibility for that. I don't think that exists on the books. I don't think that there's a law on the books like that. I think that would be a proper way of putting some responsibility on the gun owners as well, because this kid legally purchased his firearms, but there have been countless of school shootings where the person did not legally have did not legally have the ability to buy those firearms. They obtained it from either their parents or some type of family member who improperly or allowed access to that firearm. Those people should be responsible too. So why is this not happening in other countries to the degree that it is here? I think the sheer number of guns exacerbates the issue. To which Fu Manchu said there should be a bunch of voluntary buybacks to try to get them off the streets. Yeah, you can't yeah, what James is saying is like generally speaking, a trend tends to happen. The problem with the we need gun laws argument is that I don't think it's sufficient. Sure, most Americans want things like assault rifles more restricted, but like 80% of Americans would never want handguns banned, yet handguns are the most common weapon in mass shootings. Mass shootings still happen in states with more strict gun laws because as long as there's some guns, it's enough to cause serious harm. So for handguns, we have more strict access to them. I think the only real solution is all guns either banned or restricted so much that the vast majority would never get them. Oh yeah, that's just not gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. Yeah, Blitz is right. There's no putting the paint back in the can in this one. And I think somebody else made a similar comment. Astro, I think, made a similar comment. So I get my handgun taken away while still accepting responsibility as gun owner and taking precautions, courses, and doing my due diligence so I can own it. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. Mayhem Hippie. I'm gonna dip ASAP, like out of this country. I just don't see it as a. I just don't see it. It's not gonna happen. There's no pathway in my mind where I see a legislative movement to ban handguns or ban guns. I just don't see it. Is America willing to change? Nah, I don't think much of anything is going to change. The impossibility of it is why I think maybe it would be more effective for America to look at the social psychological trends that cause the shootings. If you can't ban guns, you can at least explore the causes to why people pick them up and point them at kids. I mean, that's a fair point. Out of the country. Yeah, I don't blame you, Heat. I don't blame you. At some point, something's got to give, folks. At some point, something's got to give. I'm not saying that, we're just gonna Thanos snap all guns. It's not gonna happen. But can we at least recognize that there is something that needs to be done to attempt to address this issue? Like, the problem we're having is that we can't even have the conversation. The problem is that we can't even have the conversation. Some of us do rely on guns to protect from animals and feed ourselves. According to the Bureau of Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, the ATF, as of 2017, there's 630,000 machine guns fully automatic in the US. That is, however, a fraction of the roughly 400 million guns due to how hard it is to obtain one. According to which is more unlikely the U.S. banning guns or giving people free healthcare of any kind. I think both are just as unlikely. Mayu. I think both are just as unlikely. I agree with you, Mayhem Hippie. I think people like Tucker who incited that other thing would probably use all their money to fight so that they don't have to face responsibility. Oh yeah, no, they already did that. Lawsuit. They already did that. They just play the we're actually not news. Nobody should take us seriously. This is entertainment. They already put that argument out there. You have to pay an extra tax for the automatic gun license, and then it can also it can take close to a year to get approved and purchase each machine gun. This is why we see semi-autos being the main weapon. Yeah, of course. To my understanding, a lot of automatic weapons in the US are the ones prior to the ban. Guns are not going to be banned, and I hear you. I'm okay with farmers having like long shotguns, which can't be concealed or shot off more than twice. We can literally use the we can literally just use a 1934 era law in the book, still an amendment to include all firearms. What law would that be? The reality is, like I said, something eventually is going to have to give. Or these things are just going to... Or we just going to have to accept that we just don't care, you know? I would, I would go further, and I think that like one of the more important, I think a significant factor would be to impose penalties, severe penalties, felonies if need be. I think that we need to impose severe penalties. For folks who have allowed somebody who's not allowed to have a gun to have access to that. Civilians were banned from buying brand new fully automatic weapons in 86. The law reference was the 1934 National Firearms Act. Law should exist within the realms of reality, not a fantasy ideal. Yep. Law should exist within the realms of reality, not a fantasy ideal. Well, so TLDR is yes, another Another incident, another round of nothing. Nothing is probably going to happen. And then the circle repeats, I'm sure. What else is there to say? The reality is, a lot of people support the idea of enacting some type of gun control. The majority of people agree that something has to be done about this. I think some of the proposals that Fu Manchu posted, I think, are a good conversation opener. And again, I think the main problem is that you can't even hint at the idea that you want some type of gun control. Reasonable, effective gun control. Right, because it's political suicide. We mostly use to scare off the coyotes and bears out of the yard more than anything. Yeah. I think there's also something to be said about what Mayhem Hippie just brought up. There is definitely a toxic culture, unique also to the U.S. when it comes to guns. There is a toxic culture that also plays a part in this too, because like I have a firearm, but you know how often I talk about firearms, or do I display my firearms in any way, shape, or form? Do I sit here and like talk about, do I sit here and glorify and talk about how awesome it is? Or do I talk about how cool? Not really. I don't have it anywhere in display. I don't talk about it. I don't show it. I feel like we need to do more than incrementalism here, like climate change. We have to do something, and now, yeah. I mean, like I said, something's got to give at some point, or we can be honest with ourselves and say we just don't care. And by we, I just mean like the, society, legislators, so on and so forth. It's just wild. It's just wild, tragic, angering, frustrating. No, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about um I'm talking about like the LARPers who swear that they're ready for some type of like I'm talking about like the LARPers who who just like constantly show off their firearms, or constantly talk about them, or think like they revolve their identity around having a firearm. That's who I'm talking about. Like the toxic gun culture that like seems to be like obviously overwhelmingly male, like macho kind of people who have some misconception that their identity needs to revolve around the ownership of a firearm. That's who I'm talking about. And what I was trying to make a point is that I don't like displaying. I don't like talking about it. I don't like making a big deal about it because, like, it's a very serious thing. Okay, it is a very serious thing, and you got these like toxic people acting like it's some kind of freaking toy. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't really have a choice necessarily, James. Um, I mean, an example would be like this is this is like one of the very rare places where I could afford to live, right? All it would take for it to get real all it would take to get real gun control is to have a bunch of POC march on the state capitol in an open carry state while open carrying rifles. Oh yeah, like yeah, there we go. There, that's exactly what I was gonna point out. Like the Black Panthers, and then immediately, all of a sudden, conservatives were very, very, very pro gun control. I think that this leads into an important question about safety in America and the things that people feel they need to do to feel safe. We need to find ways to address that need for safety and that don't exponentially increase the danger to other citizens. Yeah. Things like this galvanize both sides. It isn't hard to say we need to act, but actually dig in and figure shit out as a whole different discussion. Like what laws are currently in effect but are difficult to administer. What does common sense gun laws actually mean? Well, it depends on the proposal, right? Like for example, I made like I think I've already said this like 3 times. There should be strict punishment or strict liabilities for folks if somebody who should not have a firearm obtains the firearm from you. Like for example, let's say I own a shotgun, and somebody, a kid, for example, who should not have this weapon, obtains this weapon from me, whether it be because I carelessly left it there or I improperly stored it, and that kid obtains the firearm that they're not supposed to have and commits a heinous act. I should then be punished for that because I bear responsibility for that too, if that makes sense. I don't think there's really any type of laws other than like maybe civil cases, but I mean like make it like a felony. Like make it a felony for the folks who, through either negligence or whatnot, allowed somebody who's not supposed to have a firearm access to the firearm. That should be a huge penalty. And if that's the case, then you shouldn't own firearms anyways. If that's the case, you shouldn't own firearms anyways. A kid got his dad's gun and shot the neighbor kid because she wouldn't show him her puppies. Right. So that okay, so is that the basis of Michaela's law in Tennessee? Is that what you're trying to say, Floppy Boober? Because if that's the case, that should be national. That should be a national a national law that if a situation happens like this, the dad needs to go to jail. That should be the very harsh punishment, and the dad should be just as liable. And after that, no more guns for that person. No more guns for that person. If you are convicted or if you're found under investigation for domestic abuse, you should not have a gun. If you've been committed to a mental health institution, you should not have a gun. Period. You can send that to me directly, Blizz, because I took off links in chat. It's a 50-50 on safe storage. When a kid gets and uses a gun statistically, it doesn't matter. I don't care. If your kid or a kid gets a hold of your firearm, that's a you problem. That's you. If a kid or somebody or anybody that is not you or an intended person obtains a firearm that they're not supposed to have, that's you. As a matter of fact, I would go a step further. If there's an incident where a kid obtains a firearm that they're not supposed to have access to, or somebody obtains a firearm that they're not supposed to have access to, then automatically, if it is found to be the case, then there should be a zero tolerance policy. There should be a zero tolerance policy, and then you shouldn't own guns. Sorry. That falls under the personal responsibility that the GOP keeps going about. It's almost like every time they talk about something, they don't really care about that. They always mean the opposite. Right, so I think it should go even further to say, like, there should be a zero tolerance. Like, dude, if, like, I don't know, if there's, like, an incident where, like, CPS gets called because, like, I don't know, a kid obtained a firearm and a incident could have happened, then that's it. No tolerance, zero tolerance policy across the board. If a kid, or somebody who is unauthorized to obtain said firearm, and gets caught. Let's say they get caught in school, because it's happened. Let's say they get caught in school, nothing happened. That's it. GG. Zero tolerance. That person failed. Should not have firearms. Period. Don't care. Hey, Pirate Ninja, how's it going? I think that these are fair statements. I don't think that they're egregious. You know? I don't think that what I'm saying is egregious in any way. Benjamin Dixon, rating with a party of 18. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. Folks, if you don't know who we are A Difficult Truth. We do the news, we do the politics Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and We do Saturdays around noon Eastern time. It's I would normally be a little bit more warm, but it's not it's not been a good it's not been a good morning. Zero tolerance is sketchy. I had a kid who beat me up and expelled. For hiding a knife in his locker and telling on him. No, I mean like for firearms. For firearms, because there have been multiple instances, Pirate Ninja. In case you were, in case you just like got here in the middle of it, there should be a zero tolerance policy when it comes to, let's say, a kid brings a gun to school, and it's found. Then there should be zero tolerance in removing those firearms, and that those parents should not be allowed to own firearms. Period. Full stop. Zero tolerance. Nope. If your kid somehow managed to get your firearm and bring it to school, whether or not they committed an act, it doesn't matter. If they are found and that firearm belongs to you, done. You're done. Good morning from Like It or Not. Howdy. I feel that it's not been a great morning over here either. I hope your day improves. Same. Folks, if you guys have a couple of seconds, please consider supporting the Benjamin P. Dixon Show at twitch.tv/Benjamin P. Dixon, and consider supporting JamToom, twitch.tv/JamToom. They actually do pretty interesting content. I was hiding in one of their streams a couple days ago, so I highly recommend you take 5 seconds to go ahead and support. Another option is consider outlawing the storage of ammo over a certain limit. It's possible. There's already been news stories of kids accidentally shooting people. Weapons are dangerous. Yes, if your kid accidentally obtains... There's no accident when it comes to that. That was pure negligence. And if that is the case, you shouldn't own firearms. No zero tolerance policy across the board. If your kid accidentally... There's no accident around that. That the parent or the adult, the guardian, was negligent. They should not own firearms. Sorry. Right. It's not exactly. It's not an accident, mayhem hippie. Exactly. It's negligence. And if they're not supposed, if they obtain in any way, shape, or form access to your firearm, it's not an accident. It is negligence. You shouldn't own firearms. Right, like leaving one in a locked car is not secure. If your child somehow manages to obtain that in any way, shape, or form, that's on you. You shouldn't have a gun. Done. Zero tolerance policy across the board. I had to have a serious discussion with my dad about him leaving a gun in his home. How? Knowing that there's a child. How? That is just wild. That is unbelievable to me. So, like, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was young, very, very little, and by young I mean like I was less than 8 years old. She doesn't visit often, we travel, but yeah, that's been addressed. Oh, well, thank goodness, but nonetheless. Sheesh. There are two types of discharges with firearms, intentional and negligent. Correct. What was I saying? So I'll tell you a story. When I was very young, very little, a kid, less than 8 years old for sure. My we were playing across the neighbor house. Um, Across the neighbor, my best friend, who by the way, is still my best friend. I've known this person literally my entire life. Um, Literally my entire life. I've known this person. I still know them. They have been just essentially, for all intents and purposes, like they're my brother. They're my brother, non biological brother, but family nonetheless. And they have been their family. Our family has known each other for decades and decades. So, anyways, I was definitely less than 8 years old, and we were playing, and we were pretending to have like an old, like we were pretending to have a game of like cops and robbers or whatever it is, back in the day. And I, again, less than 8 years old, was able to find. I was able to find and carry my dad's at the time pistol. Do you know what happened after that day? He sold it. That day. That day, he got rid of it. That day, it was done. Yep. That day, it was gone. No more. No more. Hasn't owned a gun since. I had a gun at 5, but not any real access. It had trigger lock at all times, and I didn't have the key. We're a hunting family. It's how we survived. Yeah, if you can't keep guns out of children's hands or people that are not supposed to have them, if you cannot secure your firearms in a responsible way and somebody that's not supposed to have them gets them, that's on you. Who loved her? I grew up in a house with my single mom who loved her guns. She taught me everything, including how to be responsible with children in my home. It's a lack of giving a shit and taking the time, and those parents should be prosecuted. Yes, that's exactly what I'm advocating for. Mayhem hippie. That's exactly what I'm advocating for. If you are a parent or you're an adult and you are a firearm owner, and somebody who's not supposed to be, if somebody who's not supposed to have access to those firearms, obtains access to those firearms, you should be held responsible. And I don't mean just civilly. I mean, there should be harsh penalties, like like felonies. America's dead. There's no going back. I owned many rifles and lived and hunted in West Virginia. I left there to went to serve during Vietnam and left my guns behind along with my smoking and drinking and fist fighting. For the gun, I said that I want one and paid for waiting about 90 minutes for a background check. Wow. Beyond vegan, that's good. Today I'm not right, but I'm very far left and non-violent. Wow. That's pretty cool, Lee Spanner. I applaud that. Police and fire departments will give you trigger locks for free. True. Hey, spread it forward. How's it going? It only took a process that is ongoing for 77 years. Listen, the only thing that you can do is have introspection and progress as a day by day, as day by day goes. So I believe somebody, Blitz, posted this from they sent me this. Glad you found a path that works for you. Quick question. So you're saying that if somebody, adult or teenager, breaks into my home, steals my, then they weren't secured if they're able to steal it. Now, was it? You shouldn't be able to steal secured firearms. Then they weren't secured, my friend. So you're saying that somehow, without nobody noticing, if you have, like, let's say, for example, a gun safe that is locked and secured, you're saying that somehow teenagers carried your gun safe or carried wherever? No, no, no. Then it wasn't secure. If you're telling me teenagers were able to steal your firearms, then they weren't secured. I'm glad they were. Yeah, we're talking about solutions, and I'd like to offer my opinion. I think that most effective measures we can do are to address the root causes why are children driven to commit such acts. I think James Napper gave a point up there. Especially as a kid, I believe it's our hyper individualized society. The right-leaning nature of the system tells us to success looks like privacy, private flights, security walls, dehumanizing efforts. In other words, we need to alter the ideas of success. I agree. Yeah, like imagine you realizing that somehow you didn't realize that there was like somebody freaking taking a blowtorch to your safe. Nah. Yeah, if your gun gets stolen, it wasn't secure. Full stop. I just nope. Zero tolerance policy. I actually mean that. Yeah, like I don't even think that that's my I don't even think that's very extreme. Like to say that you should have absolute personal responsibility as a person who would own or who wants to be a gun owner. If you can't fathom or if you can't contend with the fact that if somebody manages to get your firearm that it wasn't secure and that you bear responsibility for what happens, then you shouldn't be a gun owner. I'm sorry. If you can't have that concept within your head, then you shouldn't be a gun owner. Sorry. All right, so Fu Manchu gives us some Jesus. All right, so we'll go over these things really quickly. Yeah, either have a great gun save or don't have a gun. Full stop. If you can't accept the possibilities of what could happen, then you shouldn't be a gun owner. If you can't accept the responsibility or contend with that fact, don't have a gun. You're not fit for having a gun. What happens when a teen steals their parents' vehicles and kills someone with a wreck? I think we already have like liabilities for that. But that is different. The shooter yesterday was an adult with a legal gun, as was the Buffalo shooter, so discussing people stealing or getting guns illegally or wrongfully is off topic, as it generally is. It's a false equivalency of what is actually happening. I think Jam Toom also brings up a good point. To which I respond, okay, so let's make let's raise the age for guns to 21 again. Realistically, if somebody's determined enough, no security measures 100% of the time. However, the consequences of not taking appropriate measures to lock up weapons in a way that deter people from getting them are too high to use baby gloves. Exactly. I mean, like, unless there's like a team of teenagers who have made it their life's mission to break into your home, one, without you noticing, and two, manage to lift an entire gun safe, which I don't know if you guys have ever attempted to see what a gun safe is, but that is unbelievably heavy. Like, that is unrealistically heavy. And some, if not all, gun safes have the option of being drilled down to the floor. Yes, and among that, we've got to put we've got to put some laws on the books that say, like, you know, if you have yeah, well, that's part of it. I don't know if it's like necessarily 100%, but I think that there is a factor of what you're talking about, Pirate Ninja. Texas changed the law in 2021 to reduce the age limit for 18 for handguns. The shooter was only a few months into being 18. Right. So, yeah, exactly. We have a lack of respect for strangers here, lack of empathy for neighbors. Yep. God, this is so frustrating. All right. Let's take a look at what Fu Manchu brought. All right. To lose a child is to have a piece of your soul ripped away. It's never quite the same. And it's the same feeling shared by siblings, grandparents, families, and communities left behind. I ask the nation to pray for them and to give them strength in the darkness that they feel. Excellent. Great. Cool story, bro. So what exactly are you proposing? Do those have cash value at churches, don't they? Not even. The POTUS offering thoughts and prayers instead of actions. Yeah, Fu Manchu, I didn't even have to read this to rehash the same talking points that we get every freaking time. Watching the Women's Voters Forum for candidates for county elections, and some of these folks have experience speaking in front of others and painfully do not. I also, a particular candidate keeps licking his pen. Mike? What? Reesh. Am I just hearing a report that all 19 children and 2 adults that were killed were all in one classroom? I don't know. I can't live on a vegan diet, and my roommate is allergic to most plants and they can't either before someone tells me to go vegan. Not all of us can. Isn't that the reason why we have so many to cache all the prayers? Yeah, it's exactly it. What about pepper spray? Are there non-lethal weapons that can give the security of a gun? Actually, out of all non-lethal options for self-defense, pepper spray is among the better ones. Yep, pepper spray is among the better ones. I just saw an article saying that is what I'm saying. Jesus, so they just like what busted in the first room and just alien being. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. So you're just telling me the, the churches are useless? Yeah. And wait till you find out that they don't even pay taxes, Pirate Ninja. Bear mace is good. Yep. Anyways, cool. Thanks, dude. And right on cue. I mean, having free healthcare that covers mental health would be nice. Here we have professional clown. Tim Pool. Being cool, edgy. Haha. Let's see how many people we can upset today by making such a asinine comment. Is Tim Pool really? No, he's not. No, he's not. Tim Pool's a conservative. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Let me play into 21 deaths and 19 of them being children. We'll be having the same discussion in X amount of weeks and or months before the next one happens at a grocery store or bar. It's the never end. Yeah. It's it's gonna be the same. We're gonna have the same conversation about how we should talk about what we can do within our purview. And then nothing's going to happen. Check out neoliberal Andrew Yang's tweet from yesterday. Can you send that to me or post it? Wow, all the 19 children and the 2 adults were in the single classroom. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. So So he got himself inside the classroom, barricaded himself, and just began. Yeah. I still haven't seen a motive released. I don't know. It doesn't seem. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, it's. I think that at this point we can talk about solutions. I think. I think that at at some point something's gonna have to give, right? And we've got to do something. Or what is this? What is this? Every day something good happens. Listen, I understand that there was like a really bad incident on the backs of another really bad incident on the back of another really bad incident that happened simultaneously. Uh, but yeah, just look in the silver lining. Look at the bright side of things. What? What? I know there was a racially motivated mass shooting just a couple days. Was it last week? I don't know. And that was on the same day that there was another mass shooting that happened. Uh, and then yet another Sandy Hook happens on the back of that. But yeah, I guess, yeah, the Buffalo was last week, 10 days ago. And yeah, I guess, hey, listen, folks, just think there's something good every day, right? They said that he was upset about not graduating and shot up his. Yes, I did see that. How do I say this? He Robloxed his grandma first. And then went on a rampage after that. So I don't know. If that's the case, then it just seems like some dude. Didn't he have like a history of like violence? Where was like the red flags that would have caught this? Where are the red flag laws that would have caught this? Why did literally taking advantage of Texas lowering the age of obtaining the firearms that he used to 18, coincidentally? I mean, there are solutions to these things. It's just impossible to get the conversation going. By the way, how's it going, Walter? I hope you're doing all right, my friend. I also saw a report that the shooter encountered police after crashing his truck and then escaped and made his way to the school. Part of his plan was to get arrested to get his toothache fixed. No way. Jeez. So this was literally on the backs of like no healthcare. I think we do need a cute animal video. All right. Well, no, it's not myopic. It's a consistent pattern. It's a consistent pattern
Gonzo.
that keeps happening that needs to be addressed. And like, yeah, I live here, so I kind of want to, I kind of want to address that problem. You know, it's kind of my problem too. It's not great with all these news, but yeah, you're right. This is America. All right, let's see. A cute bear. Stop trying to sell me stuff.
He's coming towards me. Yes, you are. What are you doing, bub? Huh? You're kind of scary to be that close.
Right, and the only crime you can commit to get arrested is mass. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm sure that we're gonna find more information, you know, as the investigations keep going. So, we'll see.
You're so cute. Are you gonna climb the tree?
But a good rule of thumb is, a lot of times, animals are more scared of you than you are of them. The exception, would be grizzlies. I think grizzlies are a little bit. I would be scared of a grizzly bear. All right, I would be. I would be scared of a grizzly bear. Yeah. Well, they absolutely will. In my front yard, I booked it with my kiddo to the top floor of our home, and I watched from a distance. Yeah, a polar bear can and has act.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that you could do is try to feed it. Oh, that's true. Hold on. Yes, that is very true, Mayhem Hippie. If it is a mama bear who has cubs, it don't matter. Yeah. That's true. That is very, very true. Yes, I should have made that asterisk. If it's a mama bear with cubs, no, it doesn't matter. A camper in Swelbert was killed by a polar bear. Yep. My brother, oh, that's a good point, Heat. My brother who does research in who did research in the Arctic had to actually the scientists who went there to get samples to study like the to study climate change, to gather ice samples, had to go with armed guards because of polar bears. Yes, bison are very dangerous. Do not do not. Do not attempt to touch the bison. They will mess you up. Never ever feed the bear. Yep. Camping in Yellowstone and entering bear season is scary. Yeah. Yes, the stories of people trying to pet bison at Yellowstone, thinking that there's some kind of like, uh, some kind of like docile like cow. No, it's no. First of all, respect the animals, all right. And second of all, you're gonna get freaking yeeted and thrown like 10 feet up in the air for trying to think that you're gonna get like some cool pictures or something, or thinking that it's like a docile cow or like a big cow or something. No. I could only imagine the stories rangers have to tell. Oh yeah. There's so many accidents and incidents because like, people like think that, people don't respect. Yeah, not the goring, but people trying to pet them. Yes. And then like, they get freaking flung 10 feet in the air. Being a zookeeper has resulted in deaths many times. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, moose? I almost said meese. Moose are enormous. Moose are enormous. And they, believe it or not, will also mess you up. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like videos of like a moose in perspective to like a car. The car looks like a toy. I don't know if you've ever seen like the comparison between a moose and a car, but the car looks like a toy. Yes, and they're huge. Absolutely. Cheese jam too. Oh man. Not the fluffy outcome you were hoping for. No, it's cute. I like the bear. You know what? We'll do a 2-for-1 special, all right? We'll get another one. We'll do a 2-for-1 special, okay? How about a cat one?
Hi, Mark Barden at Sandy Hook.
Oi. Jesus. So freaking sad.
He will steal every bath if we let him. All right. You can have it. He would come into the bathroom and watch us shower, and we decided he liked water immediately.
This is my bath. That's for me.
I like to take baths a couple times a week. They're relaxing for me, but not when he wants to get in every single time.
No, you can't come in here. Oh, gosh. Oh, goodness. Hey, okay, no.
I don't like locking the bathroom door because then he just puts his paws under and just scratches uncontrollably and screams.
Oh no.
He didn't seem bothered. He didn't seem concerned. He just was so interested. Anytime he hears the water, he comes running to the bathroom. Marvin, that's for me. As often as I shower, he will be in there with me. If it's a bath, he will get in. There's just no stopping him. We had no idea that it was going to grow into weekly bath time appointments. Since Marvin is just such a fan of the water and we love to find ways to keep him entertained, we thought there would be nothing better for our spoiled little prince than having his own special furry spa day.
I love you, bye.
We did get his robe ready early and
Aww.
his kitty adult beverage. Do you want a bath? Yeah.
Oh my god.
We get his toys ready. He has marbles, automatic swimming fish, and rubber duckies as well.
Oh my god.
We do have some rose petals that he enjoys.
done?
Then post bath, we swaddle him up, make sure he's mostly dry, and then we cozy him up. The cat whine was really entertaining. He did not know how to react to it. After his consumption of his kitty adult beverages,
Jesus.
he was ready for slumber, tired as many of us are.
It's hard to
He
be a
did curl
cat,
up
folks.
on the couch with me, take a little snooze, have a little snuggle session, and finished out his day of pampering. I think bath time for us has been something silly and fun for him and I. Marvin, if you were gonna steal my bath, can you at least enjoy it, please? Why do you look so miserable, little dude? Wow. You're
My cat would murder me if I even try to get him near the bath.
I get to see him, exploring something different, and it's nice to think that we're giving him something special and an enrichment opportunity.
At least he's
Even
a
when
clean
I'm not
cat.
drawing his bath, just having him near and having him always be around when I'm having my bath or shower is just fun and cute to know that he's always with me.
That's adorable. Story time. Went to Colorado with buds, went up into the mountains, took some fungi for fun. And then on our descent, we found a family of moose. We had to stop and just respect their existence. It was amazing. That's awesome, spread it forward. I had a cat who liked to play fetch with a pipe cleaner. Yeah, what Brie does is that she gets pipe cleaners and makes them into like little spring toys. Like she twists them into springs, and her cats love that. Yes, that is true. My cat will try to drink from the sink and fail most of the time, getting water all over his head or over her head. That's funny. My cat steals glasses of water. If you leave any glass of water around, she will start drinking from it. My cats like to get in between the shower curtains and liner and just meow at me. That's funny. Like, what are you doing? Human, no. Yeah, like you're the one being tortured. That's interesting. I didn't know that, Jamtoon. Nature provides us solutions. All right, folks. James Napper gave me the study that he was referring to earlier. So I posted it actually in the Discord. If you guys want to take a look at that resource. Gotcha. All right, folks. We've got a few articles to run through, and then I think we should be good. Video release of Oath Keepers and Proud Boy leaders meeting 24 hours before the January 6th insurrection. The Justice Department released new videos of the now infamous meeting between Enrique Tarrio and Stuart Rhodes, the leaders of the two most prominent extremist organizations connected to the January 6th insurrection that took place in Washington, D.C., the hotel garage, just 24 hours before the attack. These 6 videos were released after CNN and other media outlets sued for access. Few details of what discussed at the meeting had previously been made public, and the discussions between Rhodes, Tarrio, and others had become a point in contention between prosecutors and defense lawyers. Videos follow Tarrio as he leaves the DC jail. He was arrested earlier that day for burning a BLM flag in December to the underground garage, and then on his drive out to the district. In videos of the underground garage meetings, which were shot by a documentary film crew, Tarrio can be seen introducing himself to Rhodes and talking with Latinos for Trump President Bianca Gracia. Also present at the meeting, according to those videos, was the founder of Vets for Trump, Joshua Macias. Neither Gracia and Macias have been charged with a crime related to January 6th. Lawyers for Tarrio and Rhodes have both called the meeting a chance encounter involving a short discussion about Tarrio's recent arrest, which is not true. Because, as we'll see, no. Tarrio's lawyers have argued that the video shows that there wasn't a broader conspiracy. No. He was just trying to issue out or try to stay in communication, even if he couldn't be there himself. And the evidence supports his bid to be released from jail. A judge has not yet ruled on his request to be released on bail. The conversation between those at the meeting only briefly touched on January 6th. The video shows in one video, Tarrio explains to Gracia that he was ordered to leave DC immediately because they don't want me to go to tomorrow's event. But Tarrio said he would stay close to DC just to make sure my guys are okay. Yeah. Sure. According to prosecutors, the video shows how Tarrio was seeking to, quote, communicate with his guys and regain control of the Proud Boys' plans for January 6th. So that tells me, why would he need to regain control of the plans? Why? Was there something else planned or something? Prosecutors also say that the video shows Tarrio was very concerned about whether he had locked down his phone and laptop. Why? They kept my phone and laptop. My laptop doesn't have anything. My phone doesn't have anything either, so you don't have to worry. Worry about what? The conspiracy case against Tarrio includes 5 other Proud Boy members: Ethan Nordean, Joseph Biggs, Zachary Rell, Charles Donahue, and Dominic Pizzola. Tarrio, Nordean, Biggs, Rell, and Pizzola are scheduled to go on trial in August and have pleaded not guilty to a number of federal crimes, including conspiracy. Donahue pleaded guilty to conspiracy in April and is agreeing to cooperate. Nice. With the Justice Department in its investigation and potentially provide testimony. Nice. Rhodes has pleaded not guilty to seditious conspiracy and other federal charges. He and 8 other alleged members of the Oath Keepers are set to go on trial in September. Yeah. I'm actually still surprised they didn't bring out the weapons. We got incredibly lucky. Yes, there were several. Actually, I don't know if Tarrio was the one making sure this was the Oath Keepers jam tomb. The Oath Keepers were the ones who had there's just overwhelming evidence that the Oath Keepers were the ones who had close by cache of weapons ready, and what they had a name for it, rapid response teams or something like that. In the event that things went down, the Oath Keepers had, and this is documented, several caches of weapons in nearby areas in surrounding like states or something like that. Was why these specific guys from the Oath Keepers are being charged with sedition. I do think we got incredibly lucky. Yeah, the Oath Keepers, I think, were ready to go, in my opinion. By pure sheer luck, incompetence, or maybe slight hesitance on their end, whatever the factors were, we are incredibly lucky. Shifting gears. Get ready for another destructive Atlantic hurricane season. Yay, look at that. Isn't that cool? This was in 2021. By the way, last year. There will be more hurricanes and tropical storms than usual during this year's Atlantic season. Federal forecasters warn it's not more than usual. This is the new usual. This is the new usual. NOAA predicts 14 to 21 total storms will grow large enough to be named. Of those, forecasters expect 6 to 10 hurricanes, 3 to 6 which will have sustained wind speeds above 110 miles per hour. Sheesh. If this forecast is correct, this will be the 7th year in a row with a above average number. Wait, if there's a wait. If this is the 7th year in a row, then it's not really above average. That is the average now. Yeah, classic Ben Shapiro argument. Just move. Classic Ben Shapiro argument. Whereabouts were you in Florida? I wouldn't be able to live with hurricanes. We were right in the perfect area. We lived in two places. We lived in South Florida in like the Miami kind of Miami area, and we lived also in Broward area, sort of close, to the coast. I lived on the Florida Panhandle during Ivan nearly 10 years ago, and the hurricanes are way worse. Oh yeah. And that was considered a bad one, but now Remember when like Hurricane Andrew was like the standard for like bad storms? Yeah. The Panhandle is also not a good place. If the forecast is correct, this will be the 7th year in a row with an above-average number of storms, by far the longest streak in recorded history. The Atlantic hurricane season officially begins June 1st, that's next week, folks, and ends November 30th, though storms sometimes form outside those dates. Yes, and we're seeing storms start forming earlier, and hurricane season lasting longer, too. I'm in my 40s, so the decades are starting to run together. I getcha. It now considers hurricane seasons that are above average to have more than 14 named storms instead of 12. For context, the record-breaking 2020 hurricane season produced 30 named storms. Not all storms make landfall, but when they do, the damage can be enormous. Yeah, to the tune of billions. Hundreds of millions of people in the U.S. are threatened by storms that form over the Atlantic and move eastwards, move towards the eastern seaboard and Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf is just that includes many who live far away from storms generally make landfall and who may feel a false sense of security as a result. For example, last year, Hurricane Ida carved a path of destruction across 9 states from Louisiana to New England. Excuse me. And caused billions of dollars in damages and dozens of deaths along the way. This is one hurricane. NOAA emphasized the widespread risk by announcing this year's hurricane forecast at a press conference in New York City, far from the traditional epicenter of hurricane risk in the U.S., and one of the places hammered by Ida's rain last September. As we recall, there was like subways that were completely flooded. No one is immune from the effects of these tropical storms. Forecasters say a combination of cyclical regional weather patterns and climate change are driving the escalating hurricane hazard in the U.S. There are certain ingredients that drive the intensity and frequency of hurricanes. The lead, said Matthew Rosencrantz, the lead hurricane season outlook forecaster with NOAA's Climate Prediction Center, including how much dust is in the air, how windy it is, how warm the waters are on the surface of the ocean. Yep. Some of those ingredients are unrelated to human-caused global climate change. For example, the natural climate variation known as La Niña has been happening for multiple years, and it drives ocean and wind conditions to support the formation of tropical storms in the Atlantic. Yes, that is true. But many other ingredients for a destructive hurricane season are related to human-caused climate change. Hotter ocean water and hotter air create perfect conditions for hurricanes to form, to get larger and more destructive. And sea level rise exacerbates flooding when storm hits land. Yeah. Extra warm ocean current is also bulging into the Gulf of Mexico this spring, threatening to release a large and deep blob of hot water during hurricane season, which would create a dangerous hurricane incubator and make it more likely that a powerful storm could hit Mexico or the U.S. Gulf Coast. Yeah, if that's true, like a massive blob of hot water, and a storm manages to make it to the Gulf, when that thing makes landfall, it'll be, yeah. The Panhandle is a horror show on multiple levels. That is one of the most racist places I have been in, and I'm from Wyoming. Jesus. When this current has bulged into the Gulf of Mexico in the past, it fueled some of the most notorious storms in history, including Katrina, Ida, and Harvey. Yikes. This is what we have to look forward to, folks, as we continue to ignore the climate crisis. That's the only way, that's the best way I can say. The weather in North Texas has been freaking me out. There has been a lot of adverse weather has been becoming the new norm. And by the way, Fu Manchu provided this source. If you guys want to get a kind of a bird's eye view. I'm sorry, I didn't see it earlier, but yeah. In case you want to get a bird's eye view of what's of what the stats are. All right. This is important. For a number of reasons. ExxonMobil must go to trial over alleged climate crimes. The ruling and another crucial decision this week will force the company to face charges it lied about global heating. The Massachusetts High Court on Tuesday ruled that the U.S. largest oil company, ExxonMobil, must face a trial over accusations that it lied to about the climate crisis and covered up the fossil fuel industry's role in worsening environmental devastation. I mean, this is like, we have seen so many documents, so much evidence that points clearly to ExxonMobil lying and covering up their knowledge of how bad their products, their company, has devastated, or the capacity of devastation that they had. They knew about this. Absolutely. And they've engaged in not only just massive cover-ups, but even up to and including massive PR campaigns to attempt to give the public a false perception of reality. Exxon claimed the case brought by Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey was politically motivated. Yeah, okay, buddy. Sure. And amounted to an attempt to prevent the company from exercising its free speech. Wait. I think we actually went over this original argument. Okay, I think I know what this is. I believe we went over it. So the argument is, for the longest time, ExxonMobil has been saying, nah, we don't do that. We don't engage in any of that. Everybody's just overblowing it. And then like now they're saying, yeah, we might have lied and we might have misled and we might have engaged in some ethically dubious practices. But you know what? So what? It's our free speech. So what if we did? I missed the beginning of the pandemic when the smog was clearing. That's... I mean, the effects of the effects of us being like not as much, emitting not as much as, individuals and whatnot, was brief, but all of that is just now moot. It is my right as a corporation to make profits at the expense of the planet. True. It's your God-given right, damn it. But the state's Supreme Judicial Court unanimously dismissed the claim in the latest blow to the oil industry's attempt to head off a wave of lawsuits across the country over its part in causing global warming, global heating, climate change. Healey's lawsuit accuses Exxon of breaking the state's consumer protection laws with a decades-long cover-up of what it knew about the impact on the climate of burning fossil fuels. The state also says the company deceived investors about the risks to its business posed by global heating. True. Exxon claimed that the lawsuit was in breach of legislation against what are known as strategic lawsuits against public participation, or SLAPs, used by wealthy individuals and corporations to silence critics. The Massachusetts court ruled that anti-SLAP laws do not apply to government cases. Nice try. Healy, who is running for governor, hailed the ruling as a resounding victory in our work to stop Exxon from lying to investors and consumers in our state. In March, a federal court also refused to put a block on the state's legal action and ruled that Exxon was obliged to turn over documents to investigators. The oil industry suffered another defeat on Monday when a federal appeals court ruled that a lawsuit by Rhode Island against 21 fossil fuel companies, including Exxon, BP, and Shell, can go ahead in state court. Fossil fuel companies are attempting to move cases into what they regard as the more friendly form of federal courts. Damn, I wonder why. I wonder why. Is it possible that maybe during like the last administration, perhaps maybe this is just spitballing. Perhaps the previous administration, with the help of Mitch McConnell, rammed through hundreds of judges, hundreds of federal judges. But I thought to them, climate change is a hoax. It was a hoax. Then we backpedaled to, well, I mean, it might be true, but you know what? It's not really a big deal to. Actually, it's actually good for plants to. Yeah, we lied about the whole thing, but free speech, get uffed. That's the order of events. That is a very reductive way, but it's a summary of what happened. Among other things, state systems often permit a much broader discovery process, which could force Exxon and other companies to hand over highly embarrassing documents revealing what they knew about climate crisis. This isn't embarrassment. This is criminal. This isn't like a oopsies. We're engaged in like some, immaterial, scandal. Right, but like, yeah, Astro, but like, I don't know, like like scandal isn't really the word. It's like criminal is the word. Yeah, like having TP stuck to your shoe and walking around is like embarrassing, right? Or I don't know, some people might consider that embarrassing. Some people might consider, I don't know, you're playing nice. Okay. Some people might consider, I don't know, walking around in pajamas embarrassing. I don't know. South of Dallas, Bell County, 23 injured, 61 homes. There was another tornado last night. Sheesh. Yikes. Some people might consider certain haircuts embarrassing when you get a haircut and you don't really like it, and yeah, okay, that's embarrassing. Being explicitly complicit in the planet's destruction is not highly embarrassing, it's criminal. Revealing what they knew about the climate crisis and when and how they responded. At least 10 other federal courts across the country have rejected the industry's attempts to get similar cases out of the state systems. Nice. Richard Weilis, the president of Center of Climate Integrity, welcomes the latest ruling to keep the process in state courts good. It's a major ruling for the ruling is a major victory for Rhode Island, which is one step closer to putting oil and gas corporations on trial for fueling the climate crisis, lying about it, and then sticking to state taxpayers with the bill for damages. This is classic, folks. 4 circuit courts in a row have now handed major defeats to big oil companies in these cases, rejecting the industry's efforts to escape accountability. Yeah, ripping your pants might be embarrassing to some folks. That's right, Astro. Yes, and it's horrible. Yes. Santa is a hoax is going into my regular vocabulary. Don't tell me that. Santa's real, okay? So far, federal appeals courts made similar rulings in Colorado, Maryland, and California. In March, a Hawaii state court gave the go-ahead for... Sorry, folks, I'm just making sure I got everything ready. In March, a Hawaii state court gave the go-ahead for a case to remain within jurisdiction. Honolulu's lawsuit alleges that oil giants engaged in a coordinated multi-front effort to deny the threat posed by global heating, to discredit the science of climate change, and to deceive the public about the reality and consequences of impacts of their fossil fuel pollution. Yes, the chair of Honolulu City Council, Tommy Waters, called it a big and important win. We're facing incredible costs to move critical infrastructure away from our coast, out of flood zones, and the oil companies that deceived the public for decades should be the ones helping to pick up the tabs for this cost, not the taxpayers, which, by the way, also subsidize these folks. The reasons these companies are fighting so hard to block this case, they don't want even more evidence to come out. This is just like big tobacco, and they tried to take advantage of the public. Agreed. And the solution is, like, you know, big tobacco, like, tobacco isn't like a necessity in terms of, like, national, interest or national security or whatever. But, the way we get and the way we power our energy is. So yeah, either these folks figure it out, or be nationalized. Easy peasy. Either admit what you did, rectify or attempt to rectify what you did, and try to fix it. Or maybe this is just too great of a national security interest and we should just nationalize these companies. F them. I really don't care. The last thing I care about is the feelings of ExxonMobil CEOs, quite honestly. Believing in Santa's like believing flat Earth. We gotta enlighten these kids. God dang it, no! Santa is real. And I stand by that. That is so depressing, Astro. Damn, what a apt username. Can you imagine? What an apt username, armed with my opinions. Nothing but opinions, nothing but feelies. Damn. Nothing but feelies. Send it to me, Fu Man. I'll pay attention this time. I gotta figure out a better way of doing this, man. I gotta figure out a better way of doing links. I can't hear because I'm too lazy to plug a headset. How's it going, Kevin? The last thing I care about is the feelings of ExxonMobil CEOs. Quite on. Damn. The last thing I care about is the feelings of ExxonMobil CEOs. Quite on. Damn, I've been caught live in 4K. Unbelievable. I've been caught live in 4K. Yeah, do VIP badges work? Hold on. Alright, Fu Man. An opinion is something a liberal doesn't possess because you're told what to think and how you go along with it. What? I mean, wait a minute. You're using words. I mean, it's English. You're using words. That's definitely that's definitely words. Those are definitely words. This is gonna be a hard derail. No, this is the end, Pirate Ninja. This is the end of the world as we know it. Folks, we're at 11:27. So the end is nigh, chat. But I did make sure to go over this because this is important. ExxonMobil and a lot of these oil companies are gonna have to face the music, or I hope in a just kind of a bit of a copium, just to huff some hopium. Actually, just to huff some hopium. I hope that we see some accountability. What's a spendocrat? The hell's a spendocrat? Formulating insults? What? Not even 2K followers, I know. That's why I need you. That's why I need you to keep giving me engagement so that we can get there. Thank you. You're right. You're absolutely right. Armed with my opinions is 100% correct. Damn, folks, chat. Not even 2K followers, chat. Armed with my opinion is trying to just help the cause by making sure we got engagement going in chat. Yeah, truly, a round of applause. I mean, he's really trying to, they're really trying to help the cause because they realize that we just don't have enough viewers and we don't have enough followers. So in order to facilitate that, they're continuing to drive engagement on the channel. So yeah, like that's great. I appreciate that you acknowledge that and are helping. Excellent. They're not here to answer questions, Mayhem Hippie. They're not here to answer questions. You're a loser who doesn't have anything to offer in the world. True! Of showbiz. You're right, because this isn't showbiz. You're correct. I actually do not have... Look, damn. Actually, this guy's on the money. This guy's on the money. I do actually have zero to offer in showbiz, because I'm not in showbiz. Damn. 100%. Yellow King, how's it going? Listen, if you think that you're gonna come here and troll this channel, oh lord. Trolls have no power here. Alright, folks. Unfortunately, it is 11:30. I gotta get going. As always, folks, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the follow button, because Armed with Your Opinions is correct, alright? You need to give me more engagement. Thank you for hanging out with us. As always, folks, join the YouTubes. Yeah, at least gift a sub or something. Jesus. Join the YouTubes. Alright, join the Discord. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! Alright, folks, hang tight. Let me log in and we'll go on a raid. Take some self-care. It's rough out there. True. Thank you all. Thank you, Spread It Forward. Thank you, Heat. You have a great day. Thank you to the Benjamin P. Dixon Show. Thank you, Jam Tomb. I appreciate that. As always, folks, we're heading out. Please go take a look. Take a second to follow Jam Tomb. Take a second to follow and support the Benjamin P. Dixon Show. Jam Tomb, Ali O'Share. As always, folks, thank you all. I really do appreciate that. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya. Lots of love your way. Thank you. Appreciate that. Bye.